सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष्य शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. All right, so let's start. Welcome Sarah Mataji to the class. So let me share. We were reading this book from this book, Life and Teachings of Tukaram. Saint Tukaram ji, he was born 400 years back near Dehu village in Pune, near Pune, Maharashtra, basically in India. And his connection with Lord is something that we are trying to understand through his inspiring stories, his unwavering faith and devotion towards the Lord. And in that part of India, Krishna's another form is, worshipped, which is known as Panduranga or Vitthal. So Vitthal form is basically Krishna's form only and his wife Rukmani. So Vitthal, Rukmani, who are the forms of Krishna are being worshipped by Tukaramji, and his stories are really powerful. They make us contemplate unconditional love, unconditional unwavering faith and devotion on the Lord, how it looks like. So we are trying to understand that through the stories of Tukaramji. So last time we did one story, and today we are continuing. We are starting a new story. So since you joined today, so you can relate today also. Hmm? Hmm. So last time we studied that Tukaramji, he got cheated. He started a new business, and when he started a new business, he purchased 3 sack of red chilies, and those 3 sack of red chilies he tried to sell in the market. He went to the market to sell those, and while on the way he was chanting the name of the Lord, and when he reached there he was still chanting the name of the Lord. He put up a shop, and people have started coming to buy the chilies. And when they were buying the chilies, they realized that this person is actually very naive and simple, so they were taking extra chilies from him on less prices. And Tukaramji was okay. They were asking what is the price of the chili. So Tukaramji will say, you all know it. Whatever you feel like, you give me. So this was the simplicity of a devotee, Tukaramji. So everyone started taking advantage of his simplicity, and they have started taking more and more red chilies. And even, one person just came and he said that, oh, I need this full sack of chilies, I will give you, next year. And he even took the sack also. So this is how like Tukaramji was being cheated by whole village, and then he goes back to his own village after that business. And but Lord Vitthal, Krishna, he knows everything. So he disguised in a form of a villager, and he said to those villagers that I am a servant of Tukaram. You have to pay me. You all have taken extra chilies. And then the one who was like a goon who took a full sack of chilies by cheating Tukaramji. He Lord teaches a lesson to that person, and then Lord collects money from each and every villager, right amount for the chilies which Tukaramji should get. And then he goes in front of Tukaramji as a head villager from that village. So he again changes the form, and he tells that I am the head from that village where you were selling chilies. We gave you very less money. This is a whole amount. Then Tukaramji, start buying grocery like rice and all. He started preparing, and he offered it to Lord only. He didn't know that this is Lord Vitthal only, disguised in the form of a head man from that village. And then Lord Shiva also comes in some disguised form, and Lord Shiva, Lord Vitthal, and Tukaram, they all eat, the khichdi, the rice. So this was one of the beautiful pastimes. And then Lord leaves. So all the villagers come and complain that you were, chanting the name of the Lord. You were behaving like an innocent man. Why did you come, to take all the money from us? Then he said, I did not come. He said, you sent your servant. He said, I did not send any servant. Then he realized that, oh my God. So that was, he got that realization that it was the Lord himself. So this is one of the stories we discussed in last class. So today we will discuss a new story. The title is Tukaram Gets Cheated. Hmm? Hmm. Tukaram started on his way back home with his earnings. As always, he was constantly meditating on Lord's unique qualities and beautiful form. The holy name would not leave his tongue even for a moment. Although staying in this world, Tukaram would experience a higher taste by constantly staying in touch with the Supreme. Sometimes Tukaram would lose touch with the surrounding world owing to this. On his way back home, Tukaram encountered an utter cheat. This person had a brass wristband and it is coated by a thin layer of gold. He offered it to sell it to Tukaram for a cheap price. Tukaram revealed whatever amount he had in possession and he accepted that he did not have required amount for purchasing a gold wristband. So, the cheater, pretending to be a gentleman, expressed trust in Tukaram and suggested that Tukaram can hand over whatever money he had at that moment and give rest of the money later. So, Tukaramji accepted the offer, gave all the money to the cheater. The cheater quickly disappeared from the scene and Tukaramji reached home. Jubilant, he would be freed at last from the threats of money lender and he would be able to, pay the loan. Tukaramji was looking forward to repay the debts. Now, he was thinking that he is having gold, but actually, he was not having gold, he was having brass. Okay, and he also lost his money. So, he again got cheated. So, it was difficult for Tukaram to believe that a person could have deceit in his heart. He is so simple that he cannot believe that people can cheat. We look at his simplicity. So he was fully convinced that Supreme Lord is all pervading and was watching everything. Just like King Yudhishthir had not come across any deceptive person in the world, Tukaram also believed every single person is a gentleman. Learning that Tukaram had returned home, all the money lenders started making plans to collect the money from him. So Tukaram met them near his home and was immediately approached by one of the rich money lender, asking him to show what he had earned from recent trip. Tukaramji showed up the golden wristband, which was not gold. He handed over to him. Then he requested money lender to take whatever was due and give him back the rest of the amount. One of the local goldsmith inspected the gold wristband and he started laughing. He rubbed one part of the wristband and showed it to everyone. It is no way made of gold. It is a cheap brass. Everyone was trying to fathom Tukaram's simplicity. It was beyond their comprehension. Tukaram's wife was also present. So she saw that her husband got cheated again. She started crying loudly. Oh, why did you not die on your way home? You are constantly chanting the names of Lord Vitthal. He has induced these feelings of renunciation in your heart. Please stop this renunciation, which is so hard on your family members. So, wife is saying all this. I thought you are an intelligent person, but instead I have married a fool. So, you see how his wife also, taunted him, but he is still gentle and calm. I thought I'm getting a diamond, but I'm just getting ordinary pieces of broken glass. You are a foolish person and you do not understand even little iota of practicality. By believing that cheater, you have destroyed our family. I do not know how will you take care of us for rest of our lives. The money lenders who were there to get, they were in hope of getting money, they left the place dejected. They understood that Tukaramji had nothing for them that day. But Tukaram's wife sat there crying. She did not have anywhere else to go. She was bound to Tukaram by her marriage. Now what happens? So Tukaram had actually two wives. One was Rukma Bai and younger one was Jija Bai, known as Avali. So Avali was smarter than her husband when it comes to practical dealing. So she started thinking, how can I manage my family's finances? My husband has gone crazy remembering Lord Vitthal. All he knows is chanting, chanting. He's always unsuccessful in whatever business he engage in. The only way out is this: if I borrow some money to do something for family, some profit will definitely come my way. I can use the same to run my household. So now wife decides to take some loan. She approached a rich money lender, asked him for loan, notwithstanding Tukaram's reputation of being gullible simpleton. Aware of Avali's rich brother in Pune, so Avali had already a rich brother. So, she agreed that, so the money lender agreed, okay, maybe she can pay me back. So he gave the money to her that can be, used for starting a business. So Avali borrowed 200 rupees and signed the necessary papers. She took this money to her husband and pleaded, I have borrowed this huge amount against my name. Please invest it in purchasing salt. So now he will start a business of salt. Some merchants from village are going to Balaghat for trading purpose. You can also accompany them and do some trade. Bring home some profit for our home. Tukaramji agreed to the proposal. He set out to purchase the salt. Avli again reminded him in a threatening tone. Please, please use this money with discretion. I have borrowed it against my name, hoping that my name will not get tarnished. People have lost faith in you since the time you have begun chanting the names of Vitthal. So, hence, I have borrowed this money against my name. If you lose even this amount, it will not be good. Please remember that I am not going to take the matter lightly this time. So, she is like very seriously threatening him. So, purchasing salt worth 200 rupees, Tukaram set out with the retinue. They did good trade at the place called Balighat and purchased jaggery to sell at the hometown Dehu. Although Tukaram was among one of them, yet he was different. He was like a golden pot among collection of brass pots. Both brass and gold look alike, but goldsmith alone knows and he can appreciate the price of golden pot. So ordinary businessmen are greedy to earn money and cannot appreciate people like Tukaram. How could they in any way appreciate his truthfulness, simplicity, faithfulness in God, and materially detached disposition? These businessmen started talking amongst themselves. This Tukaram has accompanied us for a business, but he is totally unaware of art of lying. So people think that business requires lying, diplomacy, deception. So they are talking among themselves that Tukaram even doesn't know how to lie, and people go, overcharging people. He doesn't know that. How will he ever earn profit? So now you will see how Lord will intervene, how he will earn profit. He is negligent towards the usual qualities of a merchant and always chanting the name of the Lord. Sometimes his loud chanting is so irritating to us and even causes a headache to us. Now, all profit to the charity. So, all the merchants reached Pune, they sold the jaggery they had, and they earned a huge profit. They started going back to Dehu, their hometown. Tukaram also earned a decent profit. Because of long journey, everyone wanted to take rest. So, as they were catching a nap, a Brahmin priest passed by with a log of wood around his neck. It appeared that he had been punished for some mischief. So there was a Brahman who was going on the way with a wooden log around his neck. It appeared he had been punished. He had long hair and long beard. He looked dejected and unhappy. This Brahman approached the merchant and asked for some donation, for some help. But in unison, merchants rejected him and denied to give him anything. They did not, however, stop to give him their strong reprimanding words, though. Brahman was still expecting something and stood there with folded hands and a humble face. So now we know who will give. So Tukaram could not remain unaffected, being approached by a hopeful face. He called this Brahman near and inquired about his past. The Brahman shared his past. My ancestor had traditionally been a village chief since generation. Seeing my affluence, my relatives bribed a lawyer and snatched away this position from me. They even conspired to send me to the prison. Some senior respectable men from village objected and saved my life. I approached the king, but he does not understand. He has been corrupted by my relatives. He asked me 300 rupees to set me free from prison. Somehow I managed to give him 50. I owe him the rest of the amount. I and my family have become beggars now. We are disgraced and we are beseeching those whom we meet for any help that is possible. King has even put this log of wood around my neck so that I do not escape from this situation, and has even appointed a guard who always guards me and pesters me all the time. So Tukaramji heard the situation of Brahman. His soft heart could not but melt. He immediately handed him over the gold coins worth 250 rupees. This act of kindness though evoked only laughter from merchants around. So merchants commented, this person does not have anything to feed his own family, and now he is giving away whatever wealth he has to this unknown person. What a fool. So these merchants are making fun of kindness of Tukaramji. They thought about his poor wife who had undergone the troubles for a long time and not able to convince Tukaram to become practical in his dealings with the world. They felt sad at her condition and in that spirit deserted Tukaram and went ahead while Tukaram stayed behind to serve the needy Brahman. So merchants went ahead and he is still there. So from this story, like we cannot imitate and we cannot take that we will leave our family starving, helping somebody. But what we learn from this story is these stories is that the surrender, the mood of surrender a devotee should have. We, despite doing so many efforts, are not able to understand that Lord maintains us. Whereas He, despite doing things on basic level, remembering the Lord, the utmost thing is fully surrendered. And we will see how Lord takes care of His devotee. So we are reading these stories to think in our lives, to strengthen our faith, our devotion towards Krishna under all circumstances, no matter what. We feel sad, we feel low. We don't feel like that Krishna is reciprocating with us. But that may not be the case. So Tukaram arranged the rest 250 rupees, to reach the king through king's soldier, helped the Brahman have a decent haircut by arranging barber, and sponsored a feast for 10 Brahmanas. So he has the attitude of serving. In this way, after all necessary help was offered to Brahman and family, Tukaram in turn received a lot of blessings. Let Lord Krishna ever protect you. Indeed, it is very difficult to come across an advanced devotee of Supreme Lord in today's time. He has helped me in my need. I could not have accumulated 250 rupees by begging for a decade. So that Brahman gave lot of blessings, and blessings of Brahman are very powerful because Brahmans are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vaishnavas are very dear to Lord Krishna. So Tukaram was experiencing the highest joy. This is a real joy. We see that when he earned, this joy was not mentioned in this, but after serving, the joy he experienced is beautiful. Hmm? So, Tukaram was experiencing the highest joy gazing at the satisfied face of the Brahman. He considered that his money has been put to good use. He was happy that he had been blessed by an opportunity to serve Brahman. So, how many of us we feel like this? When our money is put into use, in we feel good when it is put into use, like buying our stuff or maybe taking care of our needs, which is not wrong, but we feel more joy in that and we mostly prioritize that over helping somebody, some devotee of the Lord, or serving when we ourselves are in a difficult position. Then also we are ready to help somebody, a devotee of the Lord. That is one of the things which also pleases Krishna and catches the attention of Krishna. So, a doubt was creeping in his mind. How will my wife react? What will be the situation at home when I return empty handed? How shall I answer all the questions that will come up? And this time the threat was really serious. So, the Supreme Lord Krishna was witness to Tukaram's turbulent mind. He thought this Tukaram, so Krishna is thinking this Tukaram has given away all his money, including original capital and even the profit he had earned. If this is revealed by the co-merchants to Avali, his wife, she will be angry and will lose all hope in Tukaram. It will be too much for her. She cannot take it. The money lender will again start bothering her. I should do something. So, to avoid this disaster, Lord Vitthal Krishna took the form of a Tukaram himself and paid all the money due to money lender, and he made sure they signed up the papers to this effect that the money is paid. Then the Lord then handed over 5 gold coins to one of the merchants dressed as Tukaram and advised him, please give these coins to my wife. So, Lord, who is Tukaramji, he gave 5 coins to some merchant and said, give it to my wife. Okay. Tell her that this is for household expenses. The merchant denied to do and asked Tukaram why he himself is not giving to his wife. So the Lord, in the form of a Tukaram, said, "No, I cannot do that. She's already very angry with me. I'm afraid of her red hot eyes. She will again start criticizing that I could earn only 5 gold coins in all the time that I was out for trade. I do not want to disappoint." So this reason somewhat pacified the merchant. So he said, "Okay, I'll give the money on your behalf." All the papers are signed by different money lenders, and he gave the money, and as an act of benevolence this merchant carried out the task assigned. Avli was surprised that Tukaram had sent something for her, and he himself had not returned home. Now she asked the merchant about him, that where is my husband? He gave you 5 coins, where is he? Right? He must be spending time in chanting, somewhere, and walked off the scene. So Tukaram was saved from the great tragedy by Lord himself. When Tukaram finally returned home, Avli was exceptionally happy, thanked him for expertise in earning money, repaying the debts. Tukaramji was puzzled that some local villagers would narrate how Tukaram had earned sufficient money but had foolishly given to save unfortunate Brahman. Some others, comprehending the loans had indeed been paid to money lenders, and then that must be the intervention of Supreme Lord to help the dear devotee. So people around are thinking, that merchants who are with him, they are telling a different story. He helped some Brahman, but here he came back and he repaid the loans. What's going on? So Avli was convinced that it is difficult for Tukaram to become expert in business because she knows her husband. How come this happened? It is difficult for him to, deal with worldly people all of a sudden. And the story of helping the Brahman was, credible, sounding legit to the wife, considering the nature and past activities of Tukaram. So wife knows. Thus, she too got a hint. Maybe it was Supreme Lord who had intervened and helped Tukaram. After all, he was the one who had attracted Tukaram and maddened him, robbing their family of any kind of social prestige. It is because of only Lord Vitthal that her husband had become such a fool. So, the wife of Tukaramji is basically playing a role in the pastime. So, Tukaramji is not an ordinary person. He is a pure devotee of Lord, and his wife in his life is also playing a role. And through this, Tukaramji becomes great. When we see such situations in his life, even his own wife is bothering him, taunting him. Still, he is able to maintain constant devotion towards the Lord without questioning. So, we are able to feel inspired. So, even his wife knows that the Lord is helping. Still, she's saying it's because of that rascal who has attracted my husband. He has come to help him. So that we may think that why wife is not able to appreciate that Lord has himself come to help. It is because she is also participating in this pastime of Sant Tukaramji. She is also one of the she's playing her role basically. So after all, he was the one who had attracted Tukaram and maddened him. It is because of Lord Vitthal her husband had become such a fool. So it was befitting, she thought, that he help her husband in the times of need. The leaders got their version of reality from merchants that had accompanied Tukaram and decided to never ever again lend money to Tukaram or family members. So money lenders thought, we will not lend the money to him. Disaster strikes again. So now it's a new story. Okay, we can read one more. I think, yeah, it's a short story. After some months, the entire region faced a severe drought. Food grains became scarce and unaffordable. Domestic animals like cows and bulls, goats began to perish out of unavailability of fodder. It was a testing time for Tukaram. He had to face people who became exceedingly sarcastic in their talk, and they would spare no opportunity to insult him. People would not even listen a single word from him. The insults would sometimes become unbearable for Tukaram. People would fire the most rude, offensive words at him. But what he could do? He was what he was. Meanwhile, his family did not have any food to subsist on. His children were famished from hunger. Tukaram could not bear this and even began to beg home to home. There was no doubt in his mind about God's kindness. Yet he did not want to be hard hearted, so he took it upon himself to provide for the family. So Tukaramji was, hmm, Tukaramji was aware of, local villagers, they knew about Supreme Lord, had personally helped him in unique ways, and so was shy of becoming famous as a saintly person, someone whom Supreme Lord helps. So when, this is also one of the characteristic of a pure devotee. Pure devotee never boasts about their relationship with the Lord or just see Lord comes to help me. They never boast like this, right? If someone is boasting or showing off their devotion, then they are actually not advanced. They are quite immature on spiritual path. The spiritual path makes one humble. So in material world, we see if somebody meets a prime minister or a celebrity or a great personality, they just click a selfie so that they can post on, social media. So we must contemplate what lies behind posting the pictures. Is boasting or showing off in a very subtle way that I have met such and such personality, I have been part of this and this event. So this is also subtle way of enjoying. This is also a subtle way of enjoying. And until unless we have this ability, tendency to enjoy in a subtle way, we are far from devotional platform. We are far from spiritual platform. So we also need to contemplate on our actions. What is the purpose of my posting my picture? Am I improving on this? Some people are very selfie freak. They every day click one photo of themselves and post on status with some song or video. See, we are not criticizing anybody here, but we are trying to analyze and think from the lens of spirituality. How spiritual people, pure devotees, are different, and how they look like. They never do that. They never do that. They keep their spiritual activities very confidential. Just like husband wife talks, they keep their talks confidential. They don't tell it to everybody. I had this romantic thing today and all. Some people do tell close friends, but it is not something which is to be shared, right? Because it is a bond between two people that they are relishing. It is not something to show off everybody. In the same way, when we have a bond with devotees, with Supreme Lord, it is not something to be show to, to do for show off. It is our pleasure, our happiness, our bliss that we exchange in spiritual life. So these are also subtle things to understand. So pure devotees of Lord, they never boast about it. And it is visible from their behavior that they have connection with the Lord. They need not even boast about it. Their aura, their speech, their words, their connection, their conviction will itself tell that they have connection with the Lord. And in the same way, we see this in Prabhupada and different spiritual masters we have in ISKCON. We see that His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj came, His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Swami Maharaj came, and today also one of the Prabhupada's disciple came. I forgot his name. Kripa Moya Prabhuji, I guess, or Maharaj, not really sure if he's a sannyasi or so. So we need not, we need not see their profile just to understand their connection. Hmm? So same way, Tukaram ji, there was no internet at that time when these stories are lok katha. These are told by people who were in the village, who have encountered. Still, we have these stories today. In a similar way, I have one more book named as Saints of Vraj. So it has stories of lot of Vraj saints who had lot of deep realization. They don't even tell their realizations. They are just sitting, chanting, and absorbed. If you go to Vrindavan, you will see lot of saints. They are like so absorbed. They don't even care. Somebody is looking at them. If somebody knows about their devotion, how great they are. So this is a symptom of a pure devotion towards the Lord. That we stop caring about how world perceive us. We are so absorbed in our relationship with the Lord that these things really don't matter. If someone thinks of me as a fool or if someone thinks of me as a great, advanced, hmm, this is not that important. The important thing is that I am happy with the Lord. I am relishing my spiritual connection with the Lord. We don't really care what others think of us. So when we start caring for that, we somewhere have a desire for fame, appreciation, recognition. And when we have those things, then we cannot have Lord. My mentor says either you can have bhakti or you can have fame. You cannot have both. If someone has done some devotional activity, some devotional service, and they are boasting about it, they got the fame already. They cannot get the bhakti. The phal, the fruit of the devotional activity is gone already. So, Lord is in our heart. He knows if we are telling somebody with what intention we are telling. We are somewhat trying to take inside some subtle pleasure in it, or we are actually genuine in our efforts towards the Lord. So, Lord knows. So, if you really, you cannot get both fame or bhakti, you can get either of them. If you really want bhakti, then we need to really train ourselves, right? But if we have boasted, we have enjoyed the fame, bhakti is not there then, right? So we can get either of them. So selflessness, bhakti is something on different level. Hmm? So I hope everything makes sense, because when I read, it really makes sense to me how simplicity, tolerance, humility, the Shiksha Ashtakam verse is so related that we can see these qualities in each and every devotee of the Lord, be it Prahlad Maharaj, be it Srila Prabhupada, be it Dhruv Maharaj, be it Yudhishthir, Pandavas, or this Tukaramji, Sant Tukaramji. In every devotee, we see all this. Ambarish Maharaj, we see all these qualities in the devotees of the Lord, and these qualities make them so special, so unique, so dear to the Lord. If we, after hearing about them, feel so much of bliss and inspired, then there this thing is towards the Lord. How happy and attracted Lord must be feeling towards them. So it is said that Lord has everything. He is full of opulence. He has everything. He has money, beauty, fame, knowledge, strength in unlimited amount. But he's how can we attract him then? I'm a simple human being. I cannot attract him through my beauty. I will grow old someday. I cannot attract him through money. I do not have enough. He has unlimited. I do not have even power. I feel sleepy and tired so quickly after some chores. How can I attract him? I can attract him through bhakti, through simplicity. And that's how, when he get attracted, he just wonder why these people are so mad for me. So to understand this, the topmost devotee of Krishna is Radharani. To understand this mood, he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I also want to be on the other side of the table and see what is interesting in me. You know, you will also think sometimes, if someone loves you so much in your family, or our mother, our father, or we love our children, they love us back. We just wonder what's so special in me. Even a simple friend, if he or she really loves me, or my husband really loves me, even if when I'm without makeup, what's so special in me? So you magnify this feeling in the lordships, how they must be feeling it, that they must be wondering what is so special in me, why he's willing to leave everything in the world, why he's getting gold coins, he was able to earn, he could have lied and made good trade and learned some tricks from merchant, but he's chanting the name of the Lord, and people think bhakti is boring. What's so interesting in it? But it's only Krishna and Krishna's devotees understand. It's so attractive. It's so binding to the heart. It's so beautiful beyond words. The feeling is extremely beautiful and it's forever long lasting. We may hear about some feelings of a boy and a girl having, affair, romantic affair in this world. And then people, they fantasize, oh, it must be so beautiful. So I can also have some partner in my life. But when it comes to Lord, this feeling is forever, 100 times. It increases with time. And if we fantasize about it, it's the best thing to do. If we read the stories of such saintly person and try to fantasize, if I will have such relationship with the Lord, how beautiful it will be, how inspiring it will be, how blissful it will be. It is so amazing. So, yeah, I think we can close today. I can continue reading in next class. So, it's already more than 30 minutes. You all can share your questions or closing thoughts if you have any. And this meeting is of 4 minutes now, so it will close after 4 minutes.